I believe that by changing the way we think about learning, we can save the world. At the start of the pandemic, I very quickly exhausted my need for fire pits. The cupboards were overflowing with board games, and every Netflix series was merging into one. I decided I needed to learn something new. My husband, Remy, is French. We've been together for over 8 years, and I'm ashamed to say that my French language skills are still appalling. But with the world of online learning at my fingertips, I took to the internet, searching for online courses, ebooks, and audiobooks. Some were aimed at beginners, but I figured I'm not a total beginner, so I might get bored too quickly. Others were aimed at businesses, but then going on date night and talking about finance probably wasn't what we had in mind when we got married. But 2 days later, I was delighted when my brand new digital piano arrived. I'd panicked. The French courses were just in the too difficult category, so I opted for something trivial. There's nothing really wrong with my decision here, but I discovered something about myself that I hadn't realized before. And that is that when I feel positive, I will learn, discover, and develop more. There are many ways that positivity comes into education. And there's been a lot of research done into the connection, but for me it's more than just about feeling happy. It's more than just the positive reinforcement when I'm learning. There's a third factor. And that's the reason behind the positivity. The impact on me when I have a meaningful impact on someone or something else. The more meaningful the impact is, the better I feel. The better I feel, the better I learn. The better I learn, the more chance I have of creating a meaningful impact. Prioritize impact, the learning will follow. A few years ago, I'd arranged to meet a friend and colleague in a cafe. I hadn't given much thought to the location. My mind was on the catch-up, and I was really looking forward to it. But as we walked in, we felt this sense of warmth and relaxation come over to us. It was the way we were greeted by the staff with open arms and warm smiles. It was the upcycled furniture that was scattered around the restaurant, the old piano in the corner, and that buzz of people from all walks of life chatting together. It really set the tone for our catch-up. And then we discovered that all the furniture had been donated, and the entire purpose of the organization was to bring a community together. I felt relaxed, I felt comfortable, I felt inspired. It's now one of my favorite places to go. I choose to go there when I want the time and space to think. I also choose to go there with friends, just because it's easy. I choose to take business clients there because it takes the edge off a corporate meeting. But no matter what the purpose, I know that every time I go, I'm having a positive impact. And I feel relaxed, I feel comfortable, and I feel inspired. Worst case scenario, I have a lovely time. But the best case scenario, that sense and feeling of positivity rubs off on everyone. We all learn more. We all develop more. We get into that mode where we're all talking at 100 kilometers an hour. We're bouncing ideas around. We don't know where we're going, but we know that we feel great. It's a small example of how prioritizing impact, helping people to feel better, we will learn more, develop more, and discover more. Prioritize impact, the learning will follow. I've been reflecting on the types of meaningful impact that I personally am most motivated by. For me, it's about tapping into that inbuilt sense of curiosity and passion for the natural environment. So many of us have it from such a young age. Whether it's the first time that we We go paddling in the sea and we feel the waves coming over our toes and the sand between our toes. Or it's the first time we learn to fly a kite and we suddenly feel the full force of the wind at the end of our fingers. Now, talking of the natural environment, in my late teens I moved to Orkney. For those of you that don't know, to get to Orkney, you drive to the very north of Scotland, jump on a ferry and just keep going. The winters are dark and stormy, but they come to life around fireplaces and in cozy hotel bars. The summers are lively, with the events of an entire year crammed into a few short months. Tourists by their thousands come off cruise ships to sample the local produce, visit the 5,000-year-old Neolithic sites, and the pristine windswept beaches. Orkney is such a special place for me. I've made lifelong friends there. It's where I met my husband. I learned to sail. I took part in community drama. I studied there, and it's where I embarked on my career. Like many other employers, my employer put on team-building activities, ranging from pool tournaments to pub quizzes. We even tried summer barbecues, weather permitting. But it was the annual Bag the Bruck event every April. Bag the Bruck means gathering rubbish. And volunteers from across the islands would come together for a coordinated beach clean across circa 900 kilometers of coastline. We'd arrive as volunteers and be handed refuse sacks. And then we'd set out on our shared team mission, clambering across the rocks, looking to rid the beaches of the last 12 months of plastic pollution. It's incredible how easily the conversation flows when you're standing outside doing a good thing. It's amazing how much we learn about each other. It's amazing how much we learn about the plastic that we're picking up. It's amazing the bonds we develop. Prioritize impact, the learning will follow. If choosing somewhere inspirational for a coffee is a small thing, then choosing a team-building activity that has meaningful impact is a medium thing. By prioritizing impact, we made it possible for people to feel positive so that they learned, developed, and discovered better. This has become a personal passion project of mine over the last few months, and I've been thinking of opportunities and areas that we can target meaningful impact in such a way that learning better is one of the outcomes. Experts say that in order to limit the most dangerous and irreversible effects of climate change, we must halve global emissions by 2030. There's no doubt that a team-building activity that has a positive impact is a great thing for a team and a great thing for the environment. But what if we could do something much, much better? What if we could make a dent in a problem as big as climate change? With something so simple as revisiting how we learn. The great news is, there are thousands and thousands of young people around the world who are already excited and engaged and motivated and passionate about addressing this challenge. But so often we fail them the minute they leave university. How often have we heard phrases like, I love my time at university, I did some really cool stuff, but I've not really used it since. Far too often. The thing is, we employ these young people out of university, we help them to cast aside their passions. We train them for the needs of the future based on the needs of the present or even the needs of the past. We mold them to be like their superiors, we train them in silos, and worst of all, we fail to capitalize on their fundamental desire to do meaningful work and have meaningful impact. So, based on that fundamental principle that if we prioritize impact, we'll help people feel better, they will learn, discover, and develop better. myself and a few colleagues decided to create a new initiative. It's called TEDxAberdeen. Now, this initiative is designed to be a non-for-profit initiative, and what we're going to do is we're going to invest any revenues in two things. One, creating meaningful impact, and two, ensuring that learning better is an outcome. We're going to see diverse teams of graduates and experienced professionals alike coming together at a 2-year program to pursue the activities that are really meaningful to them, that they're really motivated by. Prioritizing impact, we're going to create hydrogen projects or renewable energy projects, but whilst we're doing it, we're going to make sure that we do it in such a way that creates economic development, that creates the opportunities for social mobility. Prioritizing impact, the learning will follow. With the learning, we're making sure that these teams of people are gaining the skills and the transferable knowledge they need and we need as the foundation of a responsible energy future. There's no doubt that addressing a problem like climate change is a monumental task. But surely, adding 2,000 hours per year per person into addressing that challenge has to be a good thing, right? Now, it might take a moonshot to solve the climate crisis, but we are confident that in even trying to find the answers, the people doing it will learn, develop, and discover better than in any other environment. Prioritize impact, the learning will follow. We actually tested this with government and industry across Scotland, Australia, and the USA. We were overwhelmed with the support that we got. But not only that, we realized that the demand was massive. So many entities don't have the skills or the capacity to achieve their own ambitious targets. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with them to channel the money and time that they're planning already to spend on training, but invest it in creating meaningful impact in the world around us. Those partners will benefit from access to a pool of experienced professionals who are happy, engaged, motivated, and excited to continue making a difference, and perhaps become the leaders of the future. Prioritize impact, the learning will follow. From something small, like choosing where to go for coffee, to something medium, like having a positive impact as a team, we can start to address some of the world's biggest challenges. So by changing the way that we think about learning, we can save the world. But first, we must search for those opportunities to have a meaningful impact, confident that by doing so, we will learn, discover, and develop better. Me? I need to learn French. There's no doubt that learning French would have such a meaningful impact on my husband. Being able to talk to him, his friends, and his family in their own language. But quite possibly, that might lead to me meeting a French-speaking not-for-profit, or even inviting French speakers from all over the world to come and join TEDxAberdeen. From something small comes something medium, and before you know it, you're creating a program which might just save the world. Thank you.